So Futuristic Ancestry is kind of long journey. It's a step of the long journey of my work. So usually how I have to work is with a lot of different medium and material in the photo montage itself. So I use a lot of archives or historical archive, family archive also. So in Futuristic Ancestry and globally in my work, I use a lot the imagery of what is to be an underground resistance network. All the archive, family archive and historical archive that I use all have a specific history and revolutionary history in the work itself. So basically in my work, I really try to create a kind of ecosystem, trying to relink memories and historical memories around that. So the link that I do, photo montage, is also the kind of notebook with all the references that I put inside. And I really try also to relink a lot of different type of history. So what I do, usually I shoot microscopic picture, microscopic sample of plants, etc., of cells, etc., and then I put archive inside. So this is my way to create a kind of ecosystem of this lack of memory and try to create new connection of history. This is also why I work a lot with microscopic imagery and the kind of plankton that I put a lot in my work. Because also consider that plankton can carry memory and a lot of memory that will be lost in this passage of Atlantic. As you can see in my work, I also talk a lot about the lack of history. For example, when I talk to you about what is the independencies of the colonial history of Cameroon, it's a kind of really hidden history. Try to find some elements, historical elements, and then try to create a kind of long journey about what is also the research in my work. So in Saturn, I created an avatar. I created this movie like maybe 4 years ago. So it was the beginning of the avatar that I created, persona, looking for the origin on the internet. And in the movie, you can see this kind of endless and impossible quest of origin. And you can see this persona changing itself, sometimes with a different layering of mask coming from Cameroon, but also Benin. And I thought it was really also interesting to talk about what is to be an avatar, what is a persona, what is a digital identity, but through African and West African history, and specifically a mask of African history. So last year, I started to work with AI to try to generate also new avatar, new hybrid sculpture. And for this work specifically, so for the moment, I'm also working with a scientist. She's like a specialist of plankton, and she shared with me a lot of research about mixotrophic plankton. It's also one thing that really interesting because mixotrophic plankton, it's a kind of in-between plankton. It's not a vegetal, it's not an animal, so you can't really classify this plankton. Then this is also all the story of what I try to create, the avatar in the movie, the sculpture, the new family of species, and I call them interspecies, a new family. So it's really important for me to work like that and try to go out or go through boundaries and really try to explode and explore also everything. So in this exhibition, you will see you have a lot of different type of medium of prints. We call that sublimation because you diffuse the ink under a layer of resin. So it's not like print as a pixel, it's print like a kind of gradient of color. So this is why you can see all the different layer and the deepness of the picture. And in my work, I also work a lot with the concept of opacity. You can't reach all the information in once. You really have to go through the picture and discover some faces sometimes, some clues, some specific elements that will give you the keys to read some part of history. And the concept of opacity is really important in my work and also in French philosophy, as Edouard Glissant. It really says that no, I don't want me as a Black person. I don't want to give you everything. Also, you need to think to reach something. I can't be that transparent because you took me too much before. So now I also have to protect myself and create a kind of bubble. So Method Gone White is based as a kind of video game demo with 4 different avatars that I created specifically for the movie. So you have the microscopic plankton, first one. Then you have Marthe. So Marthe is also called from the name of Marthe Monnier, also a member of the UPC. And then you have Persona. So Persona, the character that you have in Mélasse de Saturne before. And the etymology of mélasse, it's also melanin in France. So this is the pigment of the skin. But also mélasse, it's also the melancholy. And mélasse is also, to me, the analogy is also an analogy of blackness. The pigment, the mélasse, and the melanin, and the blackness. So what is to be black in this world, and also in the state of melancholy. So Persona is the character that tells a lot about his own state of blackness. And also, this is a persona who talks about anger, and it's really important for me to talk about that. You can watch the movie after that, and also read the text, because the text is super important and it will give you a lot of information about the work. And the text is mostly a mix of poetry and manifests. It's a mix. In fact, I write the same as I do photo montage, with a lot of different references coming from sciences, philosophy, sociology, etc., etc.